This week we're going to talk about Chongqing Express 1994. My name is Stephanie Cheung for Chinese 50 class. So table of content. First, we're going to talk about background and context. Two, we're going to talk about the director profiles. Three, we're going to talk about the cinematic technique. Four, we'll talk about the scene's interpretation. Background. Hong Kong New Wave. Hong Kong was under British colonial rule from 1841 to 1997. So it is almost over 100 years Western influence. It's not up to 1974, Cantonese become the second official language in Hong Kong. So we can see that Hong Kong is actually influenced by the Western cinema at the time by time it got emerged from science clubs and film journal. It started to remove martial arts and supernation themes, and it has also split into two different waves. So the first wave will be focused on independent political, and the second wave will be studio and identity focus. So next, I'm going to show you a video where I just mentioned that Hong Kong was influenced by Western society. So during that time, people who got immigrant to the Western, they have higher standard to look down to the local who cannot immigrants. And you will see how they differentiate people by the class to show how during that time the Western, how they differentiate themselves and the local. So English is quite important during that time. So this, you can see that although they both speak Cantonese, but their class are different and they can't get along together due by different standard, by the way how they dress, how they talk, or how they look. And during that time, it is also the Hong Kong New Wave movement want to wash the past and create new agenda. So it's also linked to PRC, People Republic China, and Taiwan New Cinema to share modern anxiety. Woman, race, and identity reflect uncertainty and connect local reality to the world. Due to the time is very close to 1997, there are lots of uncertainty, and there are also many mainland people start to move to Hong Kong because they think that Hong Kong is going to be one of their hometown since it's going to belong back to China. And the video I show you, we show that the uncertainty and how the Western influence people, the mainland people, when they go to Hong Kong. So the background music that you hear is the national song of PRC. It's showing you that the mainland person. The protagonist moved to Hong Kong, but he has language barrier, cultural differences, language differences that he doesn't feel get along. But at the same time, he also got Western influence that he want to try McDonald's. So you can see that Hong Kong at that time has a large influence by the Western society. Next, gonna talk about the director profile, Wang Gawei. Wang Gawei was born in Shanghai. He moved to Hong Kong at age 5. Due to the language barrier with Mandarin and Cantonese since his childhood, he spent a lot of time watching the movies. He has a degree in graphic design and he was trained as a script writer with the Hong Kong television network TVB. As TVB is also the second largest television company during that time at Hong Kong. They have a lot of director, writer who was graduate from the Western University, Canada University. So they added many Western themes, sex, ladies, crime, film into the film. So that changed Wang's views of points compared to when he was in China. So his first film that you see in the poster is As Tears Go By 1988, and that has a lot of Western influence with the sexual and lady images. Next, we'll talk about the cinematic technical. So in the film that the director used a lot of narrators. So narrator keeps the character backstory under wrap and cover it bit by bit as we get to know them. It also helps us to experience busyness, loneliness, aim, the crowd, noise, and constant rush of urban life. While the protagonists are using the narrators as their voice, it makes us to be like we're very close to them and we can also know what they are thinking instead of guessing of interpretation. So it's a voice over narration. So where the character reflects on past event, revealing their internal thoughts and feelings. This help us to know more about the character's inner monologue, and sometimes we get to know what they're thinking and what are the film trying to talk about to send out the message of the movie. Next, the other cinema technique, dim light, low key lighting. It shows the chaotic and deep loneliness in the film. So it shows the deep emotional resonance. So Chongqing Express turned the ordinary moment into a poetic expression of loneliness and desire. it reminds us that even in chaos, there's still beauty. Even there's loneliness, there's still connection waiting to be found. So it keeps showing you a light, although it's dark. But then you always see light. Although the light is very blurry, but there's always hope. Next, scene's interpretation, fantasy versus reality. So I choose the one that Faye was secretly dig into the cop's house. I interpret that as kind of like the Hong Kong society versus the China uncertainty that time. Why uncertainty? Because that um, during that time, Hong Kong is going to return back to China. So as Faye is imagining that she is going to have a relationship with the cops, 663, but it doesn't exist yet. So same as Hong Kong is going to return back to China. But due to the June's force, many people are worried, they're scared. So uh, they wasn't sure that once they return back to Hong Kong, what is going to be happen. So once they return back to China, what is going to be happen? They're excited, but at the same time they are afraid. So during that time, Faye was like having a lot of like crazy dreaming action inside 663 houses because she was thinking for a hope. But at the same time, she wasn't too sure. Is it going to come true? She was afraid. So this is how I interpret to fantasy versus reality, because once you add the music, it can change the atmosphere. But if you don't have the music, it's quite scary that someone just secretly dig into your house. But if you think about the other hand, the person's actually very excited that she got to secretly to go to a person's house um, that she loves, but she's also not sure that what she should do due to that time. Everything is a no. Thank you for watching.